No. I think we're all right. Put a couple on the end. Good.
I'm just getting more.
Every time I say
They were older.
You would like it, Bob. Come to the elderly, I mean the Newfield Sunday dinner. I want.
Good, how you doing? You should send that invitation. Invigorated.
Is this on?
Nothing.
So
Who's left in town? Good time. Nice to see the new people. My hill? Not bad.
we don't have to.
He must have a reason. You know, some of the same old faces. Just that's all. Way you into more.
It's different. It's special to them.
Thanks, guys.
What, today? Monday night. Still working?
didn't think you were going to be here. I brought the newspapers. I keep bringing the newspapers. Getting to get to show up. He told me he was going to be there tonight. He's supposed to be at our house. Car's not in the yard. It's not down his. Gave me the bullshit story. Yeah, we're going to show up in the afternoon. Yeah. Well, I did text you that. See it?
I'm going to moderate tonight, but I'm actually not officially moderating anything because I'm not in a position of actual town moderator. I'm not performing any duties for the town with regard to elections tonight. Board of Selectmen have asked you all to be here tonight to put on this candidates night, give everybody an opportunity. We are recording this so folks at home can see us in the live stream. It's available on the town website. So I'm just going to run through the list of candidates as they appear on the ballot. And the first on the ballot this evening is for school board, and that's for Bobby Kelly. Unfortunately, Bobby had prior engagements and is not able to attend tonight. However, he did ask that if anyone has any questions for him, would like to reach out to him. If you contact Sue at the town office, she can get you in touch with him so that he can answer any questions you may have about his running for the school board. Next candidate on the ballot is the school moderator. It's a two-year position, and that would be me. As most of you know, I have moderated in town for many years. Actually, it's kind of a generational thing. My dad did it for a long time, and actually come from a list of folks in the family that have been in town generationally and participated civically, not only in the role of moderator, but we have a long history of folks that have served on the select board, fire department, supervisor checklist, trustees, you name it, on and on. So we're very proud of Newfields as a family. We are thankful to be here, to be part of such a wonderful community. It's an amazing place. I've had the very good fortune of being raised here and living my life here. And I'm very thankful to be with such a great group of folks. We have a wonderful town. I'm very, very thankful to be part of it. So as far as the moderator position goes, really to boil it down to a very simple level, the moderator is the chief election officer in charge of elections. And that's really what my job is as a moderator, is to ensure that when we all get together and vote, all of the folks that are needed in order to make the elections work are in place, understand their roles, know their jobs, so that we can get things set up, organized, and have an orderly vote. And I'm confident that most of you in this room have probably been through the voting process in Newfields, and hopefully you've had a very seamless experience and things have been wonderful, because that's what we like. So, any questions from anybody before I move on to the next candidate? Happy to answer any questions anyone would have. All right, so next on the ballot would be for select board, and that would be Jane Walsh.
Thanks, everybody. First off, thanks for everybody for coming here tonight, and for everybody who's watching this being streamed. This is a really great opportunity for all of us in such a small town to really, see all of our candidates. And I'm really glad that we have a nice competitive election. So, thank you. So I'm Jane Walsh. I'm running for select board. I've lived in the Seacoast most of my life. My husband and my two children are here. And we lived in Newfields for just about 7 years. And during that time, I'll echo John's sentiments. It's a wonderful place to live. We really enjoy living here. I've been dedicated to the community for years. I served on the Newfields School Board. As part of that, I was on the Policy Committee, the Safety and Security Committee, COVID Communications Committee, as well as the Budget Advisory Committee. I also coach Girls on the Run. I've done work for the PTO, Friends of the Library, and a number of different town events. A little bit about me: I grew up in Hampton. I actually went to Winnicott, as well as St. Thomas, and I attended college in Massachusetts. I like to keep it local. And I'm currently getting my master's in organizational development. During college, I actually started my professional career, and I work for high-tech companies. I currently work for them to improve their businesses. Every day, on a regular basis, I create contracts, I review budgets, and update business strategies with my clients and colleagues for very, very large companies and small companies as well. And to do that, I need to stay current with technology, business trends, and how to best adapt to a rapidly changing marketplace. In addition to my full-time job, my husband and I own a software company. And along with his business partner, we help contractors make the request for proposal process more efficient. As a small business owner, I also understand budgets, how to create and evaluate RFPs, and what it takes to be an agile business person. As a select board member, I will apply my experience to our town businesses and budgets and ensure that we make fiscally prudent decisions that are in the best interest of Newfields residents. With all this experience, I hope I can listen to, understand the needs of multiple constituent groups, and make an educated decision. I do my homework. I analyze the situation in front of me, and I tailor the approach and decision-making process accordingly. I can navigate strategic and tactical planning issues and analyze short-term, long-term consequences. So a couple of my priorities. I'll listen to the community. I want to hear what our residents need, particularly what our local businesses and residents need to thrive and grow. When we all grow as a community, when our businesses and communities are supported. I love living here. I want to see it thrive. If you have a question, issue, or if you'd like to see something new or changed, I want to hear about it. I'll promote fiscal integrity and responsibility. I do, really believe in a, affordable and proactive budget. I want to keep up with maintenance and avoid large expenses down the road. I will support local businesses. We should have the opportunity to grow and thrive while maintaining public safety and working within local and state regulations. As a select board member, I'll work collaboratively with local businesses and members of the town boards to foster a spirit of cooperation to enable businesses to thrive. And I'll lead with integrity. If there's a good and sound reason for something, I'll be the first one to be enthusiastic about it. If there are questions or something needs some thought and consideration, I want to have a discussion. Listen to all sides, come prepared with research, and make sure that we're confident that we're making a decision that's in the best interest of our town. I work hard to be fiscally conservative, transparent, and respectful to all town residents. I'm an independent thinker who will listen to all sides, do the research necessary to formulate a fair decision that's good for Newfields. I welcome any questions, or if anyone would like to chat, I'm available tonight. And anyone is welcome to stop by 8 Connor Lane tomorrow from 5 to 7. Kids are absolutely welcome. We'd love to see you there and answer any questions you have tonight or then. Thank you so much for listening. And I do respectfully ask that you vote for me on Tuesday. Thank you.
All right, so next candidate on the ballot is select for the position of select board, and that will be Obi Han.
What's in that bag?
My name is Obi Han. I know a lot of you, some of you I don't know. I'd like to start out by thanking everybody for being here, and I'd like to thank the people that make these things happen, especially extend my appreciation to the town employees who do a lot of really hard work in this town that a lot of folks just aren't cognizant of. And I'd like to thank all the volunteers in town for all the work that they do to make this town the unique entity that it is. Real quick and dirty, grew up in Vermont, University of Vermont, Suffolk University Law School, Naval Postgraduate School for Aviation and Ground Safety. I'm retired from the Marine Corps, spent 20 years flying in the Marine Corps, and then I was a commercial aviator for 19 and a half years flying domestic and international. Currently, I'm a part-time instructor for Federal Express on the 777, doing that probably 6-7 days a month, right around there. So, in some of the other chapters, I was a graduate of the New Hampshire Police and Fire Academy. I went to both of those, certified police officer, certified firefighter 1, and I did firefighter for probably 22 years as a volunteer, so I'm pretty familiar with volunteer firefighter issues. And then I was a police officer for approximately 6.5 years up in the Lakes region. What else? I was in EMPB at the time. We had to do that when it was part of the gig. I was in the New Hampshire House of Representatives representing Grafton County 8, which is the 4 towns up in the Lake region. And then I was on the Newfields Chief Selection Committee, and I'm the labor for the Halloween skeleton house that gets put together every fall down there. So, last year, I seem to run every year. I've been running this my 3rd year. So I'm batting 500 now. I'd like to get my average up. So minimal. I ran on 2 premises, public safety and fiscal responsibility. I'm a conservative fiscally. It's your money, it's not the town's money, and our responsibility to ensure that we spend that money wisely and prudently. We have senior citizens on fixed incomes. We got families struggling in this economy to make it, so it's incumbent on us to weigh every cent and every penny that we're going to spend. So this year the operating budget went up about 7.8%, and that's due to inflation. Diesel fuel, salt, all the road agent entities, things that we all know that we have to deal with on a regular basis. We think we can keep the tax rate about 3%, give or take, right around there. And it was some hard cutting to get to that point, and I'll talk about that in a minute. So, public safety. I fully supported the police department and voted for staffing of the complete police department. We have seasoned veteran officers, the chief has been able to bring on board, and they know the difference between pepper and fly dog, and they know when to make good calls, okay? And I support that. Concurrently, we have to pay them accordingly, so there is in the warrant article, there's an increase in pay for our officers to keep them here in town, because there's a lot of poaching going on between departments, and we want to keep these veteran officers that we have in place. Excuse me. I'm working to make Narcan available in all the cruisers, because the fentanyl issue is all over the place, and I'm also working to have it in the station so that our officers and our citizens are protected in case they need it. I'm working to facilitate with the chief and lieutenant as far as getting body cameras and cruiser cameras on board, and that will provide protection both for the citizenry and for our police department and for the liability of the community. Post that absolute disaster in Uvalde, Texas, at the school down there. I brought before the select board and worked with the majority of the board that we work together with the school board and the faculty and our first responders to ensure that there was no stovepiping going on between the school board and the police department and the fire department. So everybody was working together, and then we had a coordinated, efficient, practice, rehearsed response to any contingency that might come up in town. These are our kids, our grandkids, it's our school, and you can't stand around after and go, I wish I thought of that. And when we get these people working together, then it precludes and mitigates the threat that we're facing in that situation. I support the restart of the Aerial School. It's a life skill program, and it's for 7.5 hours total time, and that time comes out of the counseling time. It's not coming out of the academic schedule. I support the Newfields Fire Department, which is facing huge manning issues as we try and figure out, because we just don't have people coming on board the fire department. As I said, I was a volunteer fireman for years. The fire department is aging. If anybody knows anybody that's interested, sing up and try and get you on board. Okay? One of the coolest things about this town is it's a flashback to many years ago with all the celebrations and events we had. And the people that put that together and do all the legwork, thank you, because it's really cool. And it's just one of those moments of Americana that you have to treasure. This past year, we renewed a 3-year contract for solid waste pickup. And over the term of that 3 years, we're going to save approximately $14,000 compared to what Waste Management and Casella wanted to do. One of the things I worked really hard and pushed hard on was Waste Management and Casella both wanted to maintain trash being in bags and plastic bags. And we use contractor bags, and those just went into the landfills. Those go into landfills, they sit there for 85 years before they start breaking up. So with Elm and the new contract, we're no longer required to put that in there, so we've taken that out of the waste stream and made ours a little more environmentally friendly, at least as far as the town goes. Let's see. One of the other things that I noticed when I first got to town, which was in 16, I was driving around just kind of looking out, checking out the town, and I noticed what an absolute mess it was along the railroad right away. There was piles of ties from one end of town to the other. And what they did when they ripped the old ties out, they just threw them in piles on the side. That is an environmental hazard for both the creosote in there, leaching into the ground and into the water source. It's a fire hazard, and if you talk to the fellows on the fire department, they will tell you they have fought all the tie fires, to include having to throw, one time they had to throw them in the river because it's the only way they can put them out. And it's also an aesthetic hazard because it looks like the south end of the northbound skunk when you drive down the road and you see these piles of ties just sitting there. So I got a hold of CSX and I got a hold of the regional manager, CSX Pan Am, got a hold of the regional manager, and he came up and did an on-site survey, and they cleaned up from the Exeter town line to about 75 yards north of the 85 overpass. They're doing a lot of work at Rockingham Junction over there, but they are going to work on that as they finish that work up. And if not, I'll stay on top of them and try and make their life that they wish they cleaned it up. So I'm really happy to do that because that's another environmental plus in our favor. All right, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Vernon Family Farm. All right, there's been a lot of talk about that, and it's gone in every direction. When this information came to us, I supported the select board dealing with the issue straight up. 2 reasons. One is public safety. There was an uninspected building that the public had access to. There's been 2 inspections by 2 separate building inspectors, and there's issues that need to be remedied. Had we not dealt with that as a town, then we face the possibility of liability should something have happened and we failed to act on the issue. I collated a complete folder on the file. It's in here, and it's that blue notebook. It's about 7 inches thick, and it covers every document that deals with Vernon Family Farm since the very beginning. Public safety is the issue on this. If the town fails to ensure that these ordinances are taken care of, and then somebody else attempts to open a business, we hold them accountable to town rules and regulations, and then they go, wait a minute, you didn't treat those folks that way. So now we have a double standard that we can be hit with on an equal protection issue. So I fully want Vernon Family Farm to succeed. When they first met with the select board, I said to Nicole and Jeremiah, I want you to succeed. I want you to make $1 million. The but you have to do it by the numbers. And I will support you until the cows come home, even though you don't have any cows anymore, to make sure this gets done. I know what it's like to have a dream and have hard work, and then all of a sudden you're facing an obstacle and you go, oh man, am I going to be able to hold on to this? I know what they're going through. I know how they work. I've dealt with select boards from the other side. I've dealt with planning boards from the other side. I've dealt with zoning boards. Been there, done that, got the t-shirt. Finally, after the event in Palestine, and then Steen, not Stein, Ohio, nobody got that, did you? Young Frankenstein, right? I asked the select board, I said I would like to have a discussion with the planning, or with the first responders, the fire department, the police department, and emergency management. And my question will be at that time, where are we? Are we where we need to be, and what do we need to do? And talking to Chief Buxton and Mr. Tom Connor, the response was, we're where we are and need to be for a town this size. A town this size can never be fully prepared to deal with something as met as the scope and the scale of what happened in Palestine. But the response was, we are incredibly fortunate in this town to have Pease Trade Port emergency response facilities, as well as Portsmouth Naval Shipyard, and then we have the whole state emergency management protocol. So we discussed the issues, the threats, how we're going to remediate those threats. The biggest problem that came out of that meeting was, how do we notify the town, and what is the protocol, and what are folks supposed to do? So Jeff Feenstra, who's in charge, brought up, he says, oh, do you have one of those power plant mailers that come out every year and tell you how to go, where to go, what to do? And I go, yeah. I said, it's hanging on a hook and on the back of one of the cabinets. Joni hasn't found it yet. And we're ready to go. And he says, well, that's the exception, because most people trash them and get rid of them. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to come together, the planning, or the select board, in conjunction with the fire department and emergency management, and work to come up with a plan so that folks have an idea of what an appropriate response is. So in this situation, there'll be a 911 reverse call, there'll be radio, TV, and internet, plus law enforcement going door to door. So that's the scope of it. Those are the items and the agendas and the way I've worked in the past year. Because all these things, especially the safety and the environmental issues, benefit the town, and they benefit all of us. So it's in our benefit to keep heading in that direction. If you race me with an election again for a 3-year term instead of running every year, that's what I'll continue to pursue. One of the things that we did when we worked on the budget this year is we took a $40,000 cut on a couple of projects, namely on the paving. I've spoken to the road agent, high price of blacktop with oil issues going on now, high price of salt, etc. I totally understand and appreciate that issue. You know, when you think of local government, you think of potholes, and you think of keeping the roads squared away. I've spoken to Brian, and I will strongly work next year to get not only on track, but to work to get ahead on the paving when hopefully the economy settles down a little bit. I offer to you that I will always be prepared to the best of my ability. My phone number is out there, it's on all my flyers, I'm available, well, probably till 9 at night. And I have no problem sitting down and just calmly, measuredly listening to what you have to say. I respectfully request your consideration of my candidacy, and I respectfully request the honor of your vote. Thank you.
Next item on the ballot is for trustee of the trust funds, and that is Kate Kennedy. By chance? Is Kate not here? Okay. So I guess similar to what went on with Bobby not being able to be here, maybe if you do have questions or want to reach out to Kate, Sue would have her contact information at the town office. Is that fair? Okay. So we also have a vacancy or an opening on the ballot. There's a couple different ones. One in particular for cemetery trustee. There's not a name, correct? Or is
No.
Sam, right, so there's not a name on the ballot, but Sam Burchill is looking to be written in, so is Sam here? Sorry, Sam. Forgive me, looking right at you. It's the glasses. Hey, Sam. So Sam, if you'd like to come up and say a few words, that would be wonderful. Thank you very much.
Hi, my name's Sam Burchill. I'm running for cemetery trustee, which I have done for the previous 3 years. And I neglected to make it to town hall to get my name on the ballot, so it'll have to be written in. But just to review some of the stuff that the cemetery trustees have done in the previous 3 years, Lynn Sweet and Ann Elliott also, just a few items. We've been contracting a company to do all the landscaping and maintenance of the cemeteries. And there's been new signs donated by Ray Buxton that have gone on to the main cemeteries in town, being Piscassic, Locust Grove, and the First Parish Meeting House Cemetery, which is otherwise known as the Route 108 Cemetery. And we've contracted clearing and removal of decaying trees and culling a bunch of dead material at the Hilton Cemetery. And we've cleared the access road to it, which has suffered from a lot of benign neglect, I guess you'd have to say, in the past few decades. So we're kind of doing an ongoing restoration of that. And it's ongoing. It seems like every time there's a heavy gale or a blow, more trees come down. But we're trying to restore that. And we also restored the foundation, the old Edward Hilton Foundation. And there's also a monument there that was donated by the Piscataqua pioneers in the 50s. And in recent years, a bunch of trees have come down and destroyed it. We went ahead and rebuilt it and trying to, preserve that part of our historic heritage here in Newfields. And I also maintain the veterans' graves in the cemeteries and the monuments, replacing the markers and the flags prior to every Memorial Day and Veterans Day. And we're also engaged in ongoing grave restoration. Some of the stones in town go back as far as 1706, so a lot of them have a lot of issues, and we're slowly trying to preserve them. And also the stone walls that encapsulate the cemeteries, we're also trying to restore those as well. So there's a lot of benign neglect, I'll say, but we're trying to do it. And I'd appreciate a vote, or in my case, write my name in.
Sam, how do you spell your last name? How do you spell your last name?
Oh, it's like Churchill with a B.
Okay.
Is that what you were going to ask, too? Okay.
Can we just write Sam? So can we just write Sam?
Oh, really?
Sam.
I understand, yes.
Can people do that, or does that?
We would, I think, interpret the intent of a voter writing Sam B down as Sam Burchill, but yeah. The only other blank on the ballot, I guess, is for a library trustee, and Brandon Johnston would like to be written in. He's not here tonight either, is that correct? He wasn't able to make it either, but again, if anyone would like his contact information, certainly can reach out to Sue. But that's Brendan Johnston with a S-T-O-N.
Can you put like a sign out front of the name? So
Hopefully the candidates will be out there, maybe electioneering before during the day of the election and that sort of thing. Can't really put signs out in front of the town hall, but
like a campaign thing? No?
if someone's out there holding
Holding
it,
it?
absolutely, no problem whatsoever in the electioneering zone. But is someone planting a sign out front and walking away, no, that's not going to stay. Sorry. but good point. Any other questions for anybody tonight? Thank you everyone very much for coming out. Really appreciate it. Hope to see you all on the 14th when we vote. See you all there.